All right.
Good evening. Welcome to the Spiritual Speakeasy, where the bar is always open and the spirits are always served. I am so excited tonight because one of my dear, dear friends, Chrissy, is going to be on. And she went on an investigation with us last night. She and her mom, first investigation. And we had an absolute blast. It was kind of fucked up, but we had a really good time. As usual, when people who work together and do spiritual work together, we decide to play together. The spirits come out for a show, and a show they did, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Tell everybody who you are and what you do, girl.
Hello, I'm Christina Girardi. Everybody calls me Chrissy. I have been attuned by Joe Allen to a master level of Reiki, as I believe so have you.
Yes, same lineage. Same lineage.
Yep, same lineage. And right now I'm working on music and writing, and I'm actually going to college. So I got all kinds of fun stuff. Got my almost 2-year-old and my 5-year-old. So super busy. My dog keeps me honest.
Well, man, I just typed hey and I spelled it EHY. Whoa.
Yeah.
A little dyslexic from last night.
I'm telling you. Last night was a lot of fun, but
it was a very late night. It was a very late night.
It was. It was good though. It was good. It was
Paranormal hangovers are real. They really are.
Yes. Yeah, my poor mom drove the whole way back home. I slept.
Oh my God.
My poor mom.
We went by a little town and picked up pickles and candy. Don't even laugh. It's like a thing. Those great big pickles. And been sleeping ever since we got home, and I'm drinking Rainbow Machine. Shout out to Naked.
Right. Yeah.
Because we went out to eat too. Had a huge fried meal, because Greece is really good. It was going to either be home fried or it was going to be McDonald's, and I went with the home fried stuff.
Good choice.
Well, McDonald's does have an anime Happy Meal right now. It is Hunter versus Hunter, and I'm like, I might have to eat one.
I've been seeing that. I'm gonna have to go get something for Stella because she absolutely adores my 5-year-old. Because she absolutely adores that.
Me too.
The K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh yeah. I love them too. I gave them stickers. I just want y'all to know, okay, well, first of all, drinking red and purple things when you're on air with a white hoodie is probably not smart. and this is what we look like when we have yesterday's makeup on, and I've got clumps in my eyes from my eyeliner last night, and I think I've got some brown streaks on my face from where I slept and sweat at the hotel. It was a Super 8.
Oh,
with the number is always questionable, and it was not too bad. But we had tiny little towels. It was really bad. little towels that I would call them hand towels, and that was our bath towel.
Oh yeah, that's no fun. No fun. No.
Hello to the people that are out there. Joe Dixon, Barbie, B8QB. I'm not good at those things. I am so sorry. I'm not even going to try to say what it is. And Deloria Skywood 67. Yeah, I need glasses, but I don't need glasses. So I'm that in between when I'm doing podcasts. It's terrible.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
So I tagged in the comments section for the people who got on Facebook to follow the link. Do you have that pulled up? Because I can't run it on Facebook. I can run it on YouTube, but I can't run it on Facebook. So I'm going to ask just to refer to both of our accounts for what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to say I'm on my phone. So like if I try to pull that up, it'll exit me out of here.
So we're going to read this out loud. Well, don't put your finger up to your mouth when you're like checking stuff out. You sent that. Did you DM that to me or did you?
Facebook Messenger.
Okay. You know, I got locked out of that. I thought I'd just tell you that. I was locked out and had to show proof of identification.
Oh.
It was really stupid.
That's weird.
I had people wishing me a happy birthday.
Yeah.
And they said I had a weird account stuff.
What? Okay. So
it was very strange.
Sounds like Facebook.
Yeah, well, it's always Facebook, right? Shout out to Facebook too. So Chrissy and I got together for some stuff, some work, and she shared with me a TikTok by Sarah, right? That has butterflies, little blue butterflies and stuff. And I think I can probably get by with.
Okay.
Is that gonna not even? Is it not allowed? Is my camera gonna like do some freaky shit? Never mind. Something doesn't want me to share, so I will not share. But she did a post on Lord Azazel. So for those of you people that don't know, Chrissy, tell them who Lord Azazel is.
To me, so far, he's kind of been around. He hasn't really talked to me much. But he's definitely a guide. Definitely, I want to say spirit guide, but I mean, he is his own entity. I don't want to get that confused, right? I don't know. I think a lot of people would think that he's mean and evil, but he's not. You know what I mean?
Solomon classified him as a demon.
They did. But a lot of these entities were around long before that, and they got classified based on what people's perceptions at the time were of what they were.
It's very true.
And I think originally Greeks, demon just meant, a spirit.
Yeah, it was. It was. And if you go into, and I meant to bring that, and if we have time, maybe, because I know this is going to go into a part 2. Like we know this is going to be part 2. So next time I'll bring my metaphysical Bible and we'll look that up. Yeah. But so that was like a whole lot of word salad that meant absolutely nothing. There's going to be a lot of that tonight because we were out late last night. But she posted a series of pictures, memes, whatever you call them on TikTok, with some thoughts. And I'm going to share Sarah's because, first of all, it was an account that she had open that you could repost. So I feel like giving her a shout out on TikTok is pretty cool. So food for thought. So I ask you, no, I expect you to decide. You're standing at a threshold, whether you admit it or not. You cannot become who you are meant to be while holding on to what keeps you small. Do we want to start with that one? Do we want to do the whole thing and then go back and talk?
We can start with that. I think it'd be easier if we just go ahead and start at that.
Okay.
So I think a lot of people, like this one spoke to me. And so if we go back, this was actually a session she did for herself, for advice for herself from Lord Azazel, but it really spoke to me. And they always say, when we post stuff on TikTok like that as spiritual advisor or, anything spiritual, we always say, take what resonates and leave what doesn't.
Correct.
Correct. So this one resonated with me because just in general, people, if you're on that threshold, right, and you're trying to figure out what to do, are you really asking for signs from people, or are you asking for permission for what in your gut already is true and what you want to do? Because from the time we're little, we're always asking for permission to do everything. And then if we get that permission, all of a sudden, if it goes wrong or something bad happens, it's not our fault because we had permission. Something else takes the blame.
Well, and how many times, many times have we asked somebody to do some work which is really permission, right? We're going to get into that later.
Yeah.
We go to somebody and that's a later thing. And we just go to them, or we think, I need to call in Aries. I need to call in Hecate. I need to call in
Lucifer, Lilith.
I was going to say that. No, don't even say her name. Baron or whatever. She just does not like me right now. Any of the entities, Thor,
Thor, yeah.
Any of the entities that we work with.
God, Michael, any of the angels,
Why are we going to them in the first place? And I had this conversation with Draven Damascus, who's also on TikTok, who's going to be on. We're trying to get him on. Our schedules are just, I'm going to sneeze. Hang on. Maybe not. Excuse me.
Bless you.
So, he talks about this, like, why are you going to somebody else when you're powerful yourself? Like, we have people that we honor. We have people that we speak to. We ask for additional blessings when additional work needs to be done, or we need to hand things over. But for people who run all the time to something, or even those of us that feel uneasy doing something, will go to something to amp up our power or to do something. And then you have to ask yourself, first of all, do I not feel like I'm big enough to be doing that? Because if I'm not big enough to be doing that, I probably shouldn't be doing that.
That's a human condition. Ain't nobody ever want to admit that.
No, I know, right? Like, why would you go to the demon of lawlessness and write a contract? I mean, fuck me running. Really?
It's fun.
Why?
It'll shake up your life. Give you something to think about.
Let me tell you, it did. Contracts are not good boundaries for people who are lawless, right? They just
Facts. Yeah.
But I didn't really need that anyway, right?
No, not really. But I mean, they'll take it. They'll run with it.
What does that make me smaller?
I don't think it makes us smaller. I think because we are the universe experiencing itself as a human experience. Like, we live and we learn. That's what we do. And we are the universe learning.
Yes.
We're made of stardust, like we learn, and sometimes we have the bad experiences and sometimes we have the good experience. And I don't know that there's really a rhyme or reason to that. Like, I don't want to say, oh, there's a greater plan or a greater purpose or, fate or whatever. Because to me, when people have been through traumatic stuff and you're like, well, fate and all this, then that, like, to me, that minimizes what they've been through.
I agree with that too. I do agree with that. I do. But let me read that again. You are standing at a threshold, whether you admit it or not. So let's talk about threshold. What is a threshold?
That's your liminal space. That's where, you got choices to make. That is, where you can ask for guidance. But most of the time, we're not asking for guidance. We're asking for permission.
We're asking for, listen, to be blunt, aren't we asking for favors?
We are. Absolutely, we are.
Not just permission. We're asking for favors. We're trying to cut deals with the cheapest amount of energy that we can give to get the deals made.
Yeah, we're the used car salesman here.
Yes, we are. We are. So you're standing at a threshold, a choice, right? A determination. Are you going to take the left path, the right path? I don't mean right like good or bad. I mean like left hand or right hand.
Right, yeah.
Are you going to go up? Or are you going to go down? Are you going to go north? Or are you going to go south? Are you going to go 2 blocks over or 6 blocks over? It doesn't really matter what that threshold is.
Right.
We're standing there. Almost every time we move in life.
Mm-hmm.
With every decision we make.
Yes,
in
absolutely.
every decision we make, whether we admit it or not.
Yeah. And that's something that Lucifer and I have actually uh, chatted about recently. And that is, um, you can ask for permission all you want, and you can make all the contracts that you want. And it comes down to, no matter if you make the contract or not, you still have to make the choice. You still have to take that step, or however you want to say that, move forward, whatever. You still have to do that. And if you're asking something else to give you a sign or give you permission so that you don't have to take accountability, are you really free? Because with freedom comes accountability for your own choices. You have to, and if you're not taking accountability, are you really free? You're not free. You're in debt.
That's true. That's true. Mercedes, what do you, was a explain. Like, did you lose us, or are you just like, this isn't for you? If it's not for you, flip dials, move on. Doesn't matter. If you're in and you just want to listen, then say hi. Explain yourself. Curious. So, see, it's 717, just so you know, 717.
Yeah.
So, you're standing at a threshold, whether you admit it or not. You cannot become who you were meant to be while you're holding on to what keeps you small. What are things that keep us small? Besides our own life choices and patterns.
Well, yeah, not breaking your own patterns, but and that falls back onto what I was talking about of the accountability. If you're not taking accountability, you're going to stay small.
Fear.
That's a huge one for me. Like, I'm real bad about that. Fear will keep me locked in place.
Jumping in. Well, okay. So there was another, I don't know if you shared it. Somebody might have been Draven's post again, but it was like, fuck around and find out. How about fuck around and follow through for once?
Right? Yes.
And I was just like, damn, that was another one that spoke to me that I pinned. It's like, fuck around and find out. Or better yet, why don't you fuck around and follow through and see where it gets you?
Yeah.
Because what keeps us small are the things that we say, I'm woulda, shoulda, coulda. I'm going to tomorrow, later, I'll get to it. I'm going to change that. Oh, and the biggest one, I'm working on it.
Yeah, you hear that one from me all the time.
But I say it too. I'm getting there. I'm working on it. I'm better than I was yesterday. I'm rolling with this, man. Like Nike, I'm doing it. But am I really? I'm keeping myself small. And then when I jump in, and you know that I don't even parachute. I fucking just dive bomb in.
Yep. Cannonball.
Yeah, cannonball, bitch, we're in. The same thing as if it's not always good.
No.
So the first thought, and I'm going to keep reading these because people come in at different times. Standing at a threshold, whether you admit it or not, you cannot become who you are meant to be while holding on to something that keeps you small. Okay. So the next thought is, because this is all one thought, if it costs you your self-respect, it's not devotion, it is debt. And you've carried it long enough.
Yeah, that one gave me goosebumps. I was like, oh man, what?
I mean, that is just so deep, right? If it costs you your self-respect, then it's not devotion. So to me, the first thing I think about, because I've been initiated in multiple different spiritualities and religions, and there were so many things that were said and done now that, because hindsight is 2020, right?
Of course.
You know, and you're kind of shell-shocked. Like, I don't know who's on or that's going to be watching this that has gone through any type of spiritual initiation, but every freaking one of them is designed for humiliation. It's designed to put you in your place as a neophyte, a newbie, a baby, and to strip you of everything that has made you. In my opinion, it is very cult-like. And I may piss some people off in higher organizations saying that, but to me, it is all very cult-like.
It is
an organization. I'm not saying the organization is cult-like.
No.
But I'm saying the behaviors are very, it's almost a brainwashing. We're going to strip you of who you are. Now, it is your choice to be there.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the cults that kidnap people and drug them and do things like that. I'm talking about things that we join on purpose to learn something or become something.
Yeah.
But if you're told to do something and you have to give up your self-respect, what you're a part of, to me, should be building you up, making you a better, stronger person.
I agree.
Not be devaluing you and costing you your self-respect.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. Now, you may slip up and say some dumbass shit.
Well,
I've done that in my words, like third grade words. But that's not disrespectful in the actions of what you're going through. And
that's the human condition. Like I said, we're all learning.
So self-respect, meaning you're doing things that you would never do otherwise because it's self-defeating, it's self-depreciating, it's self-disrespectful. You shouldn't be doing those.
No.
Somehow you're feeling guilty and you're paying a penitence by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, penitence, for those people who are not Catholic and don't understand penitence, it's like you're you're accepting a punishment, or you're punishing yourself for something that you feel like you've done or someone else has told you you've done. Would you agree?
I do. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
That's a debt.
It is.
Go back. That might not even be your lifetime. That could be someone else in your family's debt. That could also be a debt that you carried from a past life of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Lori. Thanks for joining us. Lori was on our trip with us last night. She got to experience a shit show firsthand and has never gotten to hear anything before. And we got to hear it last night. So you're standing at a threshold, whether you admit it or not. You cannot become who you were meant to be while holding on to what keeps you small. If it costs you your self-respect, it is not devotion. It is a debt, and you've carried it long enough. So how do you get rid of that?
I mean, you got to make that choice. You're on the threshold. You got to make the choice. You got to make the choice, like, do you continue your penance, or do you become who you're meant to be, who you want to be?
And that's a hard choice, right? Because for some people, they've never acted in their own best interest. They've always diverted and thrown their attention to someone else and something else because, number one, you're not focusing on yourself, right?
Right.
Because it's hard to focus on yourself. It is. It's one of the self-introspection and change is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, right?
Yeah. Well, and then you feel guilty for it too, because then, as the whole society has told you, if you do this, then, you are, you're too focused on yourself. You're not worried about anybody else, and then, then you get the guilt from that, and it's a repeating cycle.
And that's what Morty just kind of said. He said, there is a plan. I do believe there is a heaven and hell. I do believe that there is purgatory. I believe we live every day in our life in purgatory, which is that recycling guilt, really. Guilt is a form of control. Lori says guilt is a form of control. Good discussion here, guys. Nobody's right or wrong here. This is just an open loop, and I'm really grateful for it. It's great. So let me finish this sentence, or this thing. So debt is guilt carried.
Yes.
And we're paying a penitence, whether it's in between heaven and hell, or it's just by throwing ourselves as a martyr every single time we do something, or playing the victim.
Mm-hmm. Which is our ego, too. We're never right size. We're always the martyr or too big for our britches, however you want to say it. Like, that's another cycle.
It is. That is so right. It's crazy. Where is your boundary when your heart stays negotiating with what you already know is beneath you?
Ooh.
That one hurts. Like, so how many times have we been around groups of people? And for those people who read too much into this is not about any one person in general. This is about human nature.
Yeah.
Both of us are strictly speaking about human nature.
Yes.
When you finally realize that you're not aligning with the voodoo group you initiated, I'll take the hit for that one, right? That you were initiated into. Or all of a sudden, the group of friends that you're hanging with, or even your own fucking family, because that happens too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you realize you moved on, you grew. Man, this is what divorce is all about.
Yeah.
You know, somebody outgrew somebody, or you both were too busy beating the shit out of each other. But either way, it's either growth or sinking. I mean, it's one way or the other. There's a change.
Yes.
Negotiating with what you already knew was beneath you. You've moved on. They have not moved on.
Yes. And that goes for just about anything in life, negotiating for what you already know is beneath you. So, telling yourself you're staying in this dead end job that you absolutely hate, right?
Right.
Because
they'd replace
you
you
need
tomorrow. They'd replace you tomorrow if you died. They don't give a fuck. They don't.
That's negotiating, and I get why we do it, in the society we live in. It's terrifying to not have income. So if you got steady income, you got to take care of your family. You got to take care of yourself. You got to put food on the table. I get it. I do. That's part but it's still negotiating. And it's something that that's what we say. It's the human condition we're talking about here, right? Across whoever, it doesn't matter. Like that affects everybody I know.
Don't you think we also negotiate our self-worth is tied to that? Like, man, so when I was working as a nurse, and I've talked about this openly, so I'm cool talking about it. When I was working as a nurse, my kids did not always come first. My job came first because, I got to put food on the table. I got to put money I got to have money for the kids. But I was also tied up because I was taught, I'm 64. I was taught that work ethic, that a good worker, a good mom, a good dad, a good parent, a good grandma, a good whatever, to be good is to go out and show up for your schedule and do what you're supposed to do. And do the best that you can do while you're there, because that makes you a solid person. And it does, right?
Yeah,
Hard work makes you a solid person. But is that me being solid for them, or is that them allowing me to be used and abused on the job because I'm just a digit? I'm the robot doing what they need. That's matrix. That's entirely matrix controlled thinking. Just like I talked in my last podcast about light and dark and the control, the constraints of religion and jobs and things like that. But I'm negotiating with my own self-worth and my own family and my own life, because maybe that was beneath me. Maybe I needed to move on for that. Maybe I needed to figure out that was just what I did and not who I was.
Yeah, that's another thing that we do a lot. We tie our identity to other stuff.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do all the time. Lori says, "Oh, Julie, I'm right there with you. Work and support." And that's enabling. That is enabling. And that's like, being codependent. My value and my worth is based on what work thinks about me. Oh, I'm doing so good. I'm taking care of so many other people. Whoa. And we're supposed to help other people.
Yeah.
If we can't help ourselves, how the fuck are we helping other people?
Exactly.
A lot of fucked up practitioners out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, help other people, sure, but like when you do it to the detriment of yourself, when it calls into question your self-worth, that's creating a debt. That's not being helpful. That's creating a debt.
It is. So I'm taking this in chunks because it's important. Okay. I'm building. I'm trying to build the big picture so you can see how small little pieces of the puzzle, tiny little things, come together and create this huge monster. Because when I get to the end, I guarantee some of you guys are going to go, "Oh shit," because it hit me like, she read this to me and sent it to me, and I had tears in my eyes. It was like, "Oh shit." And then I was trying to tell my husband about it that night, and I was crying. I'm like, this is really goofy to be crying over this, but man, it's deep, right?
It is.
So I ask you, no, I expect you to decide. You're standing at a threshold, whether you admit it or not. You cannot become who you are meant to be while holding on to what keeps you small. If it costs you your self-respect, it is not devotion, it is debt, and you have carried it long enough. The words of Azazel, channeled through Sarah, who's on TikTok. I'm going to move on. Where is your boundary when your heart stays negotiating with that which you already know is beneath you? Next part. You are not weak for feeling as deeply as you do, but you lose yourself when you allow these feelings to lead you instead of you leading them.
That one hit me really hard. I am emotionally led by a lot.
Me too. We've talked and we've had, I mean, Chrissy and I've had great conversations about this. We've, you go to your triggers, you go to your children, you go to the mistakes and the trauma of what we've been through and what we've done as kids, and then the trauma from past lives too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lori says, but when you're supporting your baby, it is all. And then she adds the word consuming. And it is all consuming. It becomes, but how do you take care of yourself when you're doing this for other people? And why are we doing this for other people? Are we doing it to evade ourselves? Because sometimes we are. Look, I've got this new skill. I can do this, this, and this for somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you spend a year doing it for yourself first? And get yourself good and healed before you do it for somebody else. Food for thought. You lose yourself when you allow the deep feelings to lead you instead of you being in control of them. So, you look at the virtues, of gracefulness and temperance and love. But to have those virtues, we have to have them for ourselves. The rules don't say we have them for everyone else first. The rules say we're building these into ourselves so that we can then be that way and show the world.
Yeah, like lead by example.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. One thing that my mom always told me, and so I grew up with this, is like you can't control your emotions. Your emotions just are. They are, but you can control your reactions. Like if you let your emotions control you instead of using your logical mind, then again you're creating debt.
Responses versus reactions.
Yes.
Responses versus reactions. Lori says, not saying it's right, but your soul tells you what you must do.
Yeah.
I think there's always a choice.
Yeah, there's always a choice. You don't have to listen to it. You'll create a debt and you'll be unhappy. But
That's true. That's true. So you are not weak for feeling deep. And nobody's saying you shouldn't have deep feelings. But you lose yourself when you allow those feelings to lead you instead of you leading them. So, one of the things is, I just drew a blank on the word. I was going to say something. Hang on a second. Let me find that train back. Let me chase it down. Hang on. Passions.
yes.
Like, it's good to want to do something. It's good to have motivation to do something. But should we become so passionate about something that we lose track of in sight of everything else around us? Because then at that point, if you're passionate about this one piece of music and it's all consuming, because passions can be all consuming, right?
Called disassociation, isn't it?
Yeah, when that muse steps in, think about all your Edgar Allan Poe shows or movies or books. Yeah, spit it out. Literature. You read the poetry and stuff, and it's all about consumption, right?
Yep.
Everything is about consumption. So when you become so consumed with the muse that you lose track of reality, that is disassociation. It's loss of self.
Yeah. Yeah. At the very base of what it actually means. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's food for thought. Not near done yet, folks. This one, This one hit me. This is my downward spiral right here. It's like I hate reading things when I'm gonna like lose my shit, but here we go. Do not mistake your reluctance to let go as love alone. Part of you clings because releasing this would require you to step into a version of yourself that you have not fully accepted. Hi, Kim. Let me read that again. Made it through the first time. I'm going to make it through the second time. Do not mistake your reluctance to let go as love alone. Part of you clings because releasing this would require you to step into a version of yourself you have not fully accepted.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is that not crazy?
It is. It is. And it's just the way it's worded is.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, hang on.
That's okay. Meltdown time.
Yeah.
But just like think about that for a second. You know, we say, I don't want to let go of that. I mean, I still love that person. I still love that whatever. I still love that song. I still love that deity. I still love that thought. I mean, we can love our thoughts too, like our opinions. I still love that opinion. I'm still holding it dear. It means everything to me. That's not just love. That means if I release that, I'm admitting I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm admitting that there's another thought out there that I didn't consider for 60 years. It means that I might have to try to become something. And shit, what if I fail? What if that's not the right person? What if it's not the right version of me? It's a fuck around and find out. Well, what if I look around and I follow through?
Yep. That's one of them scary ones because it's like, oh man, it's like, you know, we are on the material plane.
Mm-hmm.
And some of us, like, we cling to material things or, you know, our spirituality with such force. We're holding on so tight.
Oh man, we're like pinching pennies. We're not dropping quarters. We're pinching pennies. Yeah, some of y'all need to lighten your butt up a little bit. Relax. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And in the end,
this is where the permission comes in too. Because now we're starting the permission. We felt small. We've kept ourselves small. We've worked through, right? You know, when you look at that stuff, it started out with it keeps you small. We're losing self-respect. We're creating debt. Now we're talking about leaving things that because maybe they're now beneath us, and that doesn't mean we're better than them. That means we've moved on from that already. It doesn't have to be a caste system where that shit below us and we're up here being gods. It just means that belief system is no longer for us and we're clinging on to it, right? Then we go on to, you know, losing ourselves because our feelings are in control, and that's why we're made to feel small, right?
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, like, maybe we're afraid to step into something because of all those factors.
Well, it's the unknown. There's a saying, mankind destroys that which it does not understand.
Yep.
And so we have fear of anything that we don't understand. We're very fearful.
Well, and so does our religious system, and so does our leadership system, and so does our media system. It all shows that.
I mean, the fear of what we don't understand, that's primal. That's survival instinct.
And it's encouraged every single day.
Yes, it's reinforced.
Reinforced every single day.
Yeah, through the media, through religion, through, you know, just society as a whole.
We're getting into permissions. This is all permission. You have to hear the whole bundle before you really get it. When you already know what you're meant to do, you feel it this one's the hardest one for me. Like, this is even hard to read. When you already know what you're meant to do, You feel it every time you sit in silence. Every time your chest tightens when you think about it. Every time you try to convince yourself to wait just a little longer. You call it attachment. I call it avoidance.
As part of that accountability.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm just really trying to take care of that. I'm trying to take care of those people. They're my children. I love them. Well, I'll leave that relationship when I can. They're making small amounts of progress. You laughed at that one. Yeah. But do we do this? We do this for deities
Everything.
too.
Everything.
Furniture. Fucking furniture. Toys. That's why we have so much shit in our house, right?
Yep.
You already know what you're meant to do. You feel it every time you sit in silence. Every time your chest tightens. When you think about it. Leaving that job because it's tearing you up. You're dying inside. Every time you try to think about it, or every time you try to convince yourself to wait just a little longer, give it another month, see where I'm at. Give it 2 months, see where I'm at. You call it attachment. I call it avoidance. So those of you that are on that know when I've done readings for you know, I'm always like, you got to just jump. Like sometimes you got to just jump. You have to let go. You've packed your parachute for how many fucking years? just jump and go. You're okay, baby. See you, Marty. Thanks for getting on. Appreciate you. You keep asking for signs. Here we go. So all of this builds, right? You keep asking for signs, but what you really want is permission. And I will not give you that because you do not need it. Let me read that again, and then this is the heart of what we're talking about. You keep asking for signs, but what you really want is permission. And I will not give you that because you do not need it. And how many times in readings have I told people, you know, you've already got the permission. You've already got the key. You hold the key. Do you remember me saying that? You've got the key. You have the key at all times. You have the key. Quit fucking giving your key to someone else to open and close your doors. They don't need to do it. And then we turn around and we do, which is blurred, we do altar work. We do stuff. And we're asking permission. Are we not asking permission to our lords and our gods and the people that we work with and the goddesses? We're asking permission for things, or we're asking for favors because we're too small. Sorry, my eyes are really itching because I've got eye makeup and I'm now that it's over 24 hours old. Sorry. You know, we're asking for work to be done because we've made ourselves small enough that we don't feel like we can do it ourselves, or we're not worthy enough to do it ourselves. Wow. Your take.
When I read that was the first one I read. I said, oh no. And I just knew the rest of it. I was like, oh God, here we go. Here we go. Oh no. Because I already knew, like, that is what it is. You know, I'll sit here and I'll read cards. I'll ask the same question over and over and over and over again. God. Like, I need guidance. I need signs. I need this. I need that. And, you know, I'll read the cards until they tell me what I want to hear, if that makes sense.
Exactly. I've had so many clients ask me, so do you read bones on yourself? Because it takes so long to read bones for other people. I bet you, sorry, I just snored it and I'm trying to get my rainbow machine off my face. I've had people go, you know, sure, you must really understand this stuff and you apply this in your own life. I have never read myself with bones. Never have I practiced reading for other people. I have never once read myself with bones. Now tell me why I haven't read myself with bones, because I know what it's going to say. I don't need to read myself with bones. I know myself, right? And we've had discussions. You know yourself too. So why do you keep reading yourself when you know? Because you're waiting for the answer to go, she's right. And
Because I want permission. I want permission. I wanted to say what I wanted to say.
So why read yourself if you already know that?
Human condition.
And people come to me and you know, you're not the only one. I have a lot of people that come to me and go, well, I made this change and now I need to know. And I love that. Thank you for trusting me with that. But you know what? You could find that out yourself. You ask yourself.
Yeah.
You have to go to somebody else. Don't go to a deity and ask. Ask yourself. But you have to be brutally honest with yourself too.
That's a hard one. Brutally
honest. Like, what did I say to you? Like when we had a conversation about who we work with and who we can contract with, right? Mm-hmm. And everybody that knows me knows I do left and right hand work. It's not, you know, so I can talk about what I do. I called in some demons to work some pedophiles. Mm-hmm. That I had not worked with those particular demons before. I have a history of working with demons. It's gone well for me. I work with a lot of legal demons and a lot of contracts and things like that. I bind people. I put people in coffin boxes, not every day by any means, but I have done this within my life and it has been solid work. So why did I decide to take that on and basically 2 demons for hire and Lucy later? Well, it was a big job for one thing. It was a huge job. I mean, I'm not just working a couple local people. I'm working people all over the world that there is proof. There is legitimate. I've gone down the rabbit hole. I have checked the paperwork to make sure that it's a valid working. Gone through my correct spirits. But who am I? What am I doing? I ask for permission, right? Mm-hmm. All the way through, I asked for permission. Why did I do that? And then got in over my head and knew the minute I did it, I got in over my head. This is like the 3rd time I've gotten in over my head in the last 6 months. Blood rituals to feed spirits should not be poured on your head. Especially unless you want to feed them through yourself, which, you know, is what I did. And I fucked around and found out, but I followed through. Right. I learned. Yeah. I admitted right off the bat. Did I not text you and say, oh, fuck? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Got to know yourself. And you got to know you're over your head. Yeah. Might need a little help on the landing here. I jumped. Might want to inflate the trampoline or the pillow because I'm coming down fast and hard.
No, well, I'll help you out.
You look it in the mirror. Yeah. Don't take things back once they're given.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's how we feel small, right?
Well,
don't you think we take things back because then it's like an oh shit, what if it doesn't work right? Well, what if I, you know, damn.
For me specifically, I take it back because I don't know who I am without the pain and the fear, and that scares me. That's a specific fear for me. I know, you know, for other people it may be different, but for me specifically, that's what mine is. That's my hang up.
Don't you think that's the majority of humans? That's a human condition. I feel like that's a very human condition.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody's been used to feeling a certain way for so long, and then, you know, they're trying to change that, it's terrifying. It's terrifying. Mm-hmm. You know, anger is a safe emotion, for lack of better terminology, but it's secondary. It usually comes from pain and or fear.
Yep.
So, but you don't want to show that to people, right? Because of the saying, you know, bleeding next to sharks.
Oh shit. Yeah.
You know, like not a good idea, you know? But it helps when you don't surround yourself with people that would do that to you. You know, you've got to, if you're in a gray environment, then you're going to mirror that gray environment. If you're pulling yourself out and you're not in the gray environment anymore, then you don't really necessarily have to worry about that too much.
That's very true. And I think a lot of, you know, there's a lot of love and light out there.
Oh,
there's
yeah.
also a lot of love and light out there that is so constricting with love and light that they become gray and almost dark.
Absolutely.
So you have to be really careful who you're surrounding yourself with and have a good support system to check and balance, not to ask for permission, but people who empower you to empower yourself.
Yes, absolutely. It is essential to keep people around you that aren't going to put you into debt.
Yes. Yes. And I love it when we do work and we talk about the stuff that we talk about, because and I've had Coven sisters on here, and I've had different points of view. But when you're doing darker work, and dark has been described and it's been delineated, it's been defined on this podcast several times what my belief system for dark is. I think it's really important to have like-minded people around you, but like-minded people not believing exactly like you do, having their own belief systems that can present like, I get what you're saying. I'm hearing what you're saying is, have you thought about doing this, or have you considered doing this?
Well, because that's where the growth comes from.
Yeah. Because you brought this stuff to me and that opened like a whole Pandora's closet and it needed to open, right?
Yes. Yes.
So we both had things happen like that next day.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Tornadoes coming through, with the storms that cleared in mid-Missouri, we had all this shit coming through, and the barometric pressure was like, man, it was like a whirlwind, and we had tornadoes on the ground, and we had high winds, and I know a lot of people got hit with a lot of storms. It came through. At the same time, I was using a Wooger vest, a gaming vest, and dropping down in frequency, and that shit cleared me out when the storm came, and I said, somebody hit the switch to my battery, and I was just gone. Like, I could not physically move at all. And then I felt like 1 million pounds had been lifted off of me. And then we went on our investigation.
Yeah.
And who showed up at the place that had nothing to do with the environment at all there?
Lucifer was there.
Lucifer was there. Hecate did show. She showed twice. She worked some lights for us, did a really nice light show. We had a lot of cool things. We have videos coming up of this, not on this podcast, because I got to edit them first. Like, take out some content that's not allowed on different viewing things. And some personal questions and stuff that we both, ask, because the personal stuff, like, to me, I'm willing to share some of that, but I'm not sharing anybody else's personal stuff.
Right.
But what was interesting was I'm packing up my stuff because everybody wanted my kids. I had kids. We were bouncing kids back and forth between two areas, and the kids wanted to go to the cemetery, and everybody wanted to do this. So we're like, okay, all right, we got like 30 minutes to get our shit packed up, and we're going to get out of here. And I was doing that, and I think I said goodbye to you guys, or you guys texted, and my husband comes over from 2 rooms over, which was in that nasty room across the way from us.
Yeah.
And they're like, there's a whole group of people over here, and their ITC device is asking for Julie, and it's saying demons. But it wants you there. So it's asked for you by name 3 times. So I go over there, and I'm like, Julie's here. Are you happy? And the lights are flashing. They had a REM pod going off. They had a K meter, 2 K meters on opposite sides. The K meters were going off, the K2. And we had a cap. So I'm talking to it, and I'm like, and I said, I need to know your name. And it said Damon. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. Maybe you can't tell me your name. I'm not going to talk to you. So then I got really pissy. And I said something. I can't even remember the question I asked now. I can't remember if I said, is this Lucifer again? I asked a direct question about that. And damn, if a cat ball didn't shoot across the table. 2 meters went completely to red, and the REM pod completely started going off and alarming. And I'm like, okay, we got to quit meeting this way. This is stupid. Like, you can talk to me at home. You don't have to come through an investigation to do that.
Lucifer's going to do what Lucifer wants to do. And that's the other thing that we do. Being human, we assign human characteristics to entities that are not human. We're never human.
Man, holy shit. We do that all the time. Are you mad? Seriously, bitch? I mean, like, the idea of mad and hard, and you know, they don't get mad because nobody gave them a cup of coffee in the morning.
Right? Like
or the cat
yeah.
stunk up the house, you know. That's
Yeah.
not, they don't get mad over shit like that. I'm sure this is like bigger anger, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, somebody threw a snowball in hell type of anger.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's something, and I've caught myself. I'm guilty of it too, like assigning human characteristics, because that's how we understand, right? Like that's we got to put it in a way that we can conceptualize it.
It's our point of view. It's our reference.
Well, because we fear that which we do not understand, so we automatically try to understand it.
Well, think of the stories about Ra. You know, Ra, the sun god, and the serpents being below at nighttime, because we know that's like death, right? And bad things happen at night. The shadows come out at, you know, at night. And so the snakes had to turn into a black cat to chase Ra down so that they could take over. Like, this doesn't even make sense. I mean, I hate to say this. It's a great story. It's stupid as fuck.
It was humans trying to make sense of something that they didn't understand.
And in their day, that was a huge story. Like, that was believed. It was worshipped. We worship the stories that we
materialistic plane, disassociation.
We do that instead of seeking the knowledge, which, you know, for some of our belief systems, I can only speak for myself.
Right.
You know, he came down to give us morning star. And I truly believe, because there are other references in the Ethiopian Bible about Jesus being morning star, Lucifer, Jesus and Lucifer, the son of the Father, came down for knowledge so that there would be an as above, so below.
Yes, I believe that too.
The balance.
And more
beliefs to believe that they're one and the same, because he gave his life, he sacrificed and became human, became of sin, whatever that word means, became of flesh and bone. Yeah, which is what sin really.
Yeah.
You start looking up your words. We'll do that the next one. Let's look up some of these words. See where the basis of it really is. It's not the way it's defined.
Yeah, Morgan Fishel goes into some really, really good detail about some of his posts. I don't necessarily watch all of them, but I do watch some of them. I like the ones about Sophia. Because that's really interesting to me.
Codex. Oh, let's talk. Dude, that's another whole show. Sophia's Dragon Codex. How can millions of people be wrong?
Right.
Seeing the same thing, like the same visions and the same, you know, the whole dichotomy and the whole the way we split the yin and the yang, like it's crazy. Michael Lucifer, one and the same.
Yeah,
it's all balance.
You gotta have the balance.
Yin and yang. So where does the permission? I know you have to cut early. Well, not early, but you have to cut within a few minutes because you got little ones to get ready for bed.
Yep.
And we're going to continue this. Like, we'll check next week and see if we can do this, because I want to finish this. This is hard. Permission. Where does permission come in? Let's frame that and come to a stopping point where it's like we want to leave it and get people hanging. The cliffhanger for permission.
Permission. It comes back to that fear, right? Because we don't understand, and so we're at that threshold, right? And instead of most of us, we do the sheeple thing. We take the easy way. We frame it in human things where we can understand it better, assigning it stuff that doesn't make any kind of sense, right? Like the snakes and stuff like that. So
but
that
snakes were feared. You know, they've always been feared.
Yeah. So, and I mean, it makes sense, right? Some snakes are venomous; they'll kill you. You know, if they bite you. Like, so obviously, we developed a fear of that.
You don't see them. And they're cold and they're slithery. And for people who've not handled them, they seem very slimy and very nasty. Most snakes are not slimy at all.
No, they're dry, actually.
Yeah, and they actually pretty interesting in your hands if you're a reptile handler.
Oh yeah, I love them. But
I love my snakes.
Me too.
But you know, it's a whole thing. Like a the forked tongue. People speak with a forked tongue.
Yeah,
are evil people. We've assigned these qualities even to the reptilians that are out there. we've assigned a certain humanistic thing to reptilians. I've worked with
Fear.
reptilians. I've had them. ICOD has come down to me twice and saved my ass in situations where I've been jumped by things cleaning people's houses, or, you know, had something going on in the middle of a C5, which is it's like when you're doing a group thing to call down some things, like, you know, you're working trying to contact the aliens and send love and peace and shit like that. And then he walked in and my temperature plummeted huge. Like, I had people documenting with thermometers and things, and I dropped and I was shaking to the point where I was nearly levitating, and I was in so much pain, and just the coming down and taking all of that and explaining to me that we don't need to be in fear.
But that's what
we are.
We are. We're in fear because we still think that we need permission.
That's what your mom said. So we done it. We don't have to take accountability. If we have permission, it's not on us.
Yep.
But I think it goes further. We don't have to make the decision. It takes the pressure off. It's not only not on us if it's the wrong decision, but we don't have to sit and sweat even making the decision.
Exactly. There's no accountability, no pressure.
It's a scapegoat.
It is. It's a scapegoat.
Permission is a scapegoat.
Mm-hmm. That's
a good stopping point, don't you?
Yeah. That's what Lucifer's been trying to tell me. Like, and I'm just like, you know me, I'm just like, what? Huh? Helen Keller. Got my Helen Keller going on.
Which is funny because you know how you get, like, I think I have enough autism on the spectrum there that I'm like, I attach songs to everything people say. Like,
mm-hmm.
When you said that, I'm like, shush, girl. Shush, did Helen Keller and Talk with Your Hips. And I'm like singing this song all night long. Like, oh, boy. But then I also was thought, you know, it's funny, the things from the past. I was thinking there was this little boy, and he was in the grocery store, and he was deaf.
Aww.
And he was having a temper tantrum. I can't, 4 or 5 years old. And his mom is like yelling at him, you know, yelling at him. And she's got her hand out in his face, and she is just like yelling at him. And he goes, and I was like, is that not you and me? Like, all he had to do is just go. And he's not hearing anything. Like, he's not seeing anything. And she was so mad, and I was laughing so hard, like so hard, because it never dawned on me. Like, I never thought of that before.
Yeah.
You know, like, I know she's cussing because she can do it, because nobody knows what the hell she's saying to this kid.
Yeah.
You know, shut your mouth. Oh my God, I'm sick and tired of you. And he's just like, I don't see you. I don't see you. And how many times do we do that when the spirits talk to us?
I do that quite often. I do that a lot. I mean, you know, you've done my bones readings. My little cat is always always.
But I do that. Talk to the hand. Your mom says talk to the hand. But it's
true. Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
Because I learned that when I was in middle school, the talk to the hand, the ears ain't listening. Mm-hmm. And I tried that on my mom when I came home, and like my life flashed before my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can remember doing that at the dinner table.
0 stars. Do not recommend.
I can remember my daughter going, just talk to the hand. And I'm like, let me talk to your hand. Like, we're going to talk to the hand. This isn't going to work out the way you think it's going to work out.
No. That, nope.
Never did.
No, that was all bad. Yeah. My life was very short at that point. There wasn't a whole lot to flash before my eyes, but it did.
I was back in the day when, you know, we got our mouths washed out with Dial and Irish Spring. It was not child abuse. Belts were used on us. It was not child abuse for me. I'm just saying it was not. I had a mouth on me. And then
Yeah, I mean, I deserve what I got. I'm just,
everything that I got, I don't think there was ever a time that I did not deserve what I got. So just being straightforward with that.
yeah, same here, same here.
So for those of you that are listening and those of you guys that watch this later next Sunday, if you're okay with that, 7 p.m. we're gonna finish permissions and get into work with Lucy and knowledge-based things. Okay. But I want to leave you with this. I'm going to read the whole thing together so that people have something that they can go home with, or you're at home. You can think about, contemplate, meditate on. Don't ask permission. Don't ask somebody in your head what it means. Go with what you think it means right off the bat, because your first impulse is probably exactly what it means, right?
Yep.
So I ask you, no, I expect you to decide. You're standing at the threshold, whether you admit it or not. You cannot become who you are meant to be while holding on to what keeps you small. If it costs you your self-respect, it is not devotion, it is debt, and you've carried it long enough. Where are your standards? Where is your boundary when your heart stays negotiating with what you already knew is beneath you? You are not weak for feeling as deeply as you do, but you lose yourself when you allow these feelings to lead you instead of leading them. Do not mistake your reluctance to let go as love alone. Part of you clings because releasing that which would require you to step into a version of yourself, that this would require you to step into a version of yourself if you've not fully accepted it yet, that you've not fully accepted. You already know what you're meant to do. You feel it every time you sit in silence, every time your chest tightens when you think about it, and every time you try to convince yourself to wait just a little longer. You call it attachment, and I call it avoidance. You keep asking for signs, but what you really want is permission. And I will not give you permission. I will not give you that because you do not need it. Thank you, Chrissy, for being on tonight. Much love.
Much love. Thank you for having me.
Keep the light burning.
Always.
Back to Spiritual Speakeasy next Sunday night at 7 p.m. so we can finish this discussion. We would not be here if it was not for you all, the watchers and the listeners. We're grateful to you and the Supernatural Inc. LLC, Miss Katie and KD Stafford. Thank you to the Paranormal Task Force X team, everybody who worked last night, and to all of the wonderful, wonderful people who came out to our amazing event. It was cold as hell, but it did not rain.
No, it did not.
It was crisp and beautiful, and the air was clear, and we're so grateful to have met each and every one of you. Please take it easy. Fill your hearts with love and your mind with peace. I don't know where that just came from, but it needed to be said. That was a very light thing to say for me.
Yeah.
Keep the home fires burning down below as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, I thank you guys deeply from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Chrissy. Same bat time, same bat station next week.
Yep. Sounds good.
Peace out.
See ya.